I love cooking. I mean, when MasterChef Australia was coming out Star World for as much as like 5, 6, 7 months, I was hooked onto it. My father would be sitting at the dining table and say, Sherin, are you coming for the dinner or not? And I'd be like, Papa, please let me watch MasterChef Australia. I'm glued to the show I was. And that's how I realized that perhaps I also do some good cooking. And that was how I started making all the exotic dishes. Because MasterChef Australia was all about exotic dishes, nice places, nice sweets and desserts. And that's what pepped me up to one day make up the dish of the ratatouille. Now, I may pronounce it a little wrongly, but it's more of a combination where you use a lot of onions, you use a lot of pumpkins, etc. And what a lovely dish I made. But slowly, my father banned me from entering the kitchen. I was stunned. I looked at him and said, Dad, why are you doing this to me? You know I love cooking. And my dad looked at me and said, do you even know how much the onion costs? All you do is open the fridge, take out the ingredients, take out the onions, splash the entire kitchen with dirt and everything, and you make your own dish. And sometimes you hardly eat it, but keep on praising about it. I looked at him and said, oh dear, there comes my MasterChef dream to crash. Dear Toastmasters, as you might have guessed, what actually came and destroyed my relationship with cooking was the mighty onion. Do you remember last year when there were sky-high rocketing prices of onion went up? Something like 80 rupees per kilo? Well, I didn't know because my father used to do the shopping. All I did was pick up the onions and do the cooking. Now, we all know that onions are extremely essential ingredients in Indian cooking style. Be it Tamil Nadu's uttapam, be it Punjab's rajma or Sikkim's momo. We just cannot do without onions. And that's how today I want to share as to what went wrong with the entire onion structure. It so happens that the fact-producing report that I'll be sharing with you is actually a report prepared by the Center for Science and Environment. It's an NGO that's working in south of Delhi in Tughlaqabad area. And they have some really interesting facts on what went wrong with the onion prices last year. They all wonder as to why a staple thing as onion went so high into the market. Was it because that the crop failed due to poor monsoon regions in Maharashtra and Rajasthan? Well, let's probe further. But before we do that, let's have a little bit of an idea about the onion statistics. For instance, India and its people consume 40 lakh tons of onion every year. India also happens to be the second largest producer of onion after China. And 30% of it is actually produced in Maharashtra. So with so much of land in a country that is so fertile, why are we still having such high inflations? I'm sure all of you must have heard about M.S. Swaminathan, the person who pioneered the Green Revolution. Well, he has an interesting take on the entire subject. He says the basic reason why this price is rocketing is because of poor supply chain. To put it in simple terms, he just used a very nice example. Now, we all know that Jammu and Kashmir has beautiful apple orchards. Now, when we have so many lovely orchards up in the hills, why does India have to still import apples from Australia? The reason is again simple. Poor cold storage and poor food processing technology. This is the answer as to why we are not getting food when there is so much being produced already in the country. Now, let me just explain to you what is this supply chain actually. Now let's start from, let's go to Tamil Nadu. There is this friend of mine, Gopal, who is a nice, simple farmer. He sows the field, lays down the seed, etc. He protects it from pests, weeds, etc. so that the crop is having a good harvest. Slowly his family helps him in the process. You know, I mean, in this process what happens is sometimes there might be droughts, there might be rain, etc. So the crop might fail, but still the family helps the poor Gopal to grow the crop properly. Now when the crop is grown, harvested, etc., Gopal takes all of the produce to the local hut, the markets, etc. Now in the process there is a high chance that the product might get soiled, it might get rotten because there is no proper facility that is going along with the produce. Now sometimes he might have to hire that vehicle, etc., but he just takes it to the market. And from the market it goes on to the retail chains, and from the retail chains it comes to us. So you see there's a long process of chain that happens. So what is exactly cold storage facility? Cold storage is all about a series of facility right from the point of harvesting to the point of consumption. That is, right from the time Gopal is harvesting it to the time like Satya is consuming. So it's a long drawn process. Now when you have a cold storage facility, it's actually quite helpful. It reduces spoilage, it is preserving the quantity, the nutrient aspect of the product. It regulates price rises. It also protects from pests, rodents, a phenomena that we even get in our own kitchen. Now, what is it about regulating of prices? It's a very simple theory. When you have large surpluses, you can release your product slowly. But if there is a scarcity, you have a storage where you can actually put your harvest very well and you can use it as buffer. So that's the simple logic of a cold storage facility. But despite that, do you know there are some more startling facts about it? For instance, India produces the second largest, it's the second largest producer of milk, and yet we have only 10% of storage facility. The same is with vegetables. We count among the highest producer of fruits and vegetables, and still only 10% is stored. Again, we have eggs. We are the 5th largest producer of eggs and only 20% cold storage facility. So you can imagine as to how much of food is actually lost, how much of food does not reach the plate of Indians. It's a wrong fact when they say that, because of the season or something, the crops have failed. The crops are there. There are no facilities that's allowing people or the common man to have his basic need. And it's all because we don't have good storage facility. Well, when we go further examining this thing, you must be wondering, so when so much of wastage is happening, what is the government doing? Are they not taking up these wages? Well, we recently had an experience where Anna Hazare fought on the Lokpal bill. It's all about corruption. And do you know, my dear consumers, that the time when you get the product